Right, we're doing algebra set and simple equations and fractions. First question, find A. Now remember, uh, there are some techniques to solve these kind of questions, which I've already discussed in previous videos. I'll do it again. Yeah. So first question, A. Let's begin. 2A is equal to -4. Divide 2 on both sides. So 2 and 2 cancels. What you get is A equal to -4 by 2, which is -2 because 2 goes into 4 2 times. Minus 2A equals 6. So divide both sides by 2. So remember, we are finding A. So A on its own, okay? We're finding A. So A on its own. It's not saying find 2A or find -2A. If it was -2A, B, the answer is 6 already. But we have to find A, okay? So divide both sides by 2 because we need to get rid of the negative and the 2. So this and this cancels. What we have is therefore negative A is equal to 3 because 2 goes into 6 3 times. Now, if negative A is 3, therefore A is -3. Okay. Now, ask yourself this question, that if -2A is 6, yeah, if -2A is 6, so you can make it a puzzle kind of a thing, that what should be the value of A, yeah, what should be the value of A, right, such that this whole product becomes 6, right? We already know the answer is -3, but in your head, if -2 is given to you, then a box is given to you, and this is the fill in the box question, let's say, and the outcome is 6. Now, if you put a 3 in here, then -2 into 3, this gives me a -6. So it can't be 3. So if you put a -3, then -2 into -3. Now remember, negative into negative is positive. So 2 into 3 is 6, and that gives me, you know, that gives me a positive 6, which is what we wanted. Correct? That's the question, a positive 6. Yeah, right. Okay. C. Now here's the technique part that comes in. So let me clear the board. 2A over 3 is equal to 4. Now, normally the way I've taught in my previous videos, I want to get rid of 2 and 3. How do I do that? By multiplying 3 over 2 on both sides of the equation. So that way 2 and 2 goes, 3 and 3 goes. I'm left with A. And then 2 goes into 4 2 times. So 2 into 3 is 6. And I get my answer A is 6. Another way to solve this is 2A upon 3 is equal to 4, right? Now I just want A. So these two numbers, yeah, I can flip them onto this side like this. 3 will go next to 4, and the 2 will come below 4 out here like this. And that's how I can solve it. It's like a triangle upon square is equal to, you can say, a circle over x. Okay, and you want to find out the triangle. What is the triangle equal to? So I'm going to simply put the box next to the circle upon x. That's how I'm going to work it out. If I were to find the triangle, but let's say you're not finding the triangle. Let's say you want to find out the square. So how do I find the square? So square, yeah, will go in the place of O, yeah. So square will come here, and the O will take the place of the square. Yeah, that's a circle. Yeah. A triangle remains where it is, but next to the triangle, we'll have the X. Got it? That's how I get my square. Another way to solve this, yeah, another way to solve this, I'll put it out here. Put the triangle next to the X. So you have the square where it is. Now remember, we are trying to find out the square, okay? So next to the X, like this, okay? Now you got to flip the left-hand side. If you flip the left-hand side, you get square over 1. And if you flip the left-hand side, you got to flip the right-hand side as well. So you got X into the triangle. Got it? And the O will come down. Now see this outcome and see this outcome. It's one and the same. Let me explain you with numbers now. Yeah? Let me explain you with numbers. Yeah. So let's say you got 3 over X is equal to 4 over 5. I want to find X, okay? I want to find X. So one way I showed you to find X is, yeah, interchange the place of 4 and X like this. So in place of 4 comes X, and in place of X comes 4, right? Leave the 3 where it is and put 5 next to it. That's my value for X. Understood? Another way I showed you, yeah, another way I showed you was leave X where it is, yeah, and put the 3 next to 5. Now you got to flip this part. Remember, once the 3 goes there, it leaves 1. Okay, so that 1 should come by default. Okay, now flip this part. Now, if you flip that part on the left hand side, then you got to flip the part on the right hand side as well, like that. And if you see, that is the same thing as that out here. Got it? Understood? Okay. Now let's talk about this question C out here. Yeah. C is 2a over 3 is equal to 4, right? So one way I showed you is multiply 3 by 2 on both sides, but I'm going to do the shortcut. So a is equal to 3 goes next to 4, yeah, and 2 comes down like this. That's it. Job's done. Now, 2 will go into 4 2 times, and 2 into 3 is 6. That's my value for A, for the C. Got it? Okay, just one thing you need to understand, that there are limitations to these tricks which I'm showing you, which means the limitation is that, for example, if I have x over 3 or 3 over x, whatever the case may be, yeah, is equal to 4 over 5, for example, 4 over 5, for example, yeah. Now the trick which I showed you of bringing 3 next to 5 and then flip and all that, yeah, it cannot be applied if there is a plus, minus, whatever another fraction out here, you know, or this and another fraction, something like that. Then you cannot apply the trick. It just doesn't work. Yeah. So if it was minus 2 by 3, for example, something like this, the trick won't work. So that's the limitation. Okay. There was one thing, another thing I wanted to talk to you about, but owing to the limitation, I forgot. Yeah, 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 yeah. So the thing which I want to talk about is that you saw me working out 2a over 3, the c part, yeah, where a is equal to 4 into 3 over 2. Now 4 into 3 over 2 you write down, or you write down 4, yeah, into 3 over 2, or you write down 4 upon 2 into 3. All of these are the same thing. Okay. So this is for those who are, yet in the fifth grade and, finding math difficult, so they see this, how it is for a 9-year old. Like they see 4 into 3 upon 2, they think it is different from this. They think it is different from this, so it's all the same. Excuse me. Right. D. 2a over 3 is equal to negative 8. Yeah. So multiply 3 over 2 on both sides. Okay. Right. And so 3 and 3 goes 2 and 2 goes left with a. And 2 will go into 8 4 times. Minus 4 into 3 is minus 12. Got it? E. A over negative 3 is equal to negative 4. Now remember, negative and negative gives you a positive. So you can rewrite the equation as a over 3 is equal to 4 if you like, and then simply multiply 3 on both sides to get rid of the 3 in the denominator, yeah, and you got 12. Or, or E can be solved like that. A upon negative 3 is equal to negative 4. Therefore, A is equal to negative 4 in bracket, and then negative 3 goes there on the other side. So negative 4 and negative 3 becomes positive 12. So out here, you got to remember the rule that if you have if you have a multiplication of negatives, yeah, two negatives is a positive, right? So even number of negatives is positive, odd number of negatives is a negative. So if you have three numbers which are negative, you'll end up getting a negative number, odd number of negatives. So if there is one negative, three negatives, five negatives, then the outcome is negative. But if there are even number of negative numbers multiplying, for example, two numbers which are negative multiplying each other will give you a positive outcome. Four numbers which are all negative multiplying will give you a positive outcome. So remember that. Yeah. And there's a simple question on that as well in this worksheet. So you'll understand it better. In the meantime, let's just focus on completing question one first. Yeah. So we solved E. We'll move on to F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, and O, I believe. Yes. Right. So E we did, right? So F, G, H, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Negative 2a over 3 is equal to 14. Yeah. Right. So I'm just going to apply my trick, which I've learned here. So A, yeah, is equal to 14 into 3 over 2. And don't forget the whole thing is negative, right? The whole thing is negative, right? So that's the negative sign. So that gives me 2 goes into 14 7 times, and 7 times 3 is 21. And don't forget the negative. So A is negative 21. G, negative 2a over 4 is equal to 1. Therefore, A is equal to 4, yeah, 1 into 4 upon 2. And don't forget the negative comes here, yeah. and therefore that answer is 2 goes into 4 two times and the negative 1. So A is negative 2. H. E, F, G, H. 2 over negative 3 is equal to 4A. Therefore, I want to find A, right? So this time it'll be 2 upon negative 3 multiplied with 4, which is equal to A. We bring the 4 next to negative 3. Yeah. So 2 goes into 4 two times, and therefore I got 1 over negative 3 into 2. Yeah. Which is A, which is nothing but 1 over negative 6 because 3 into 2 is 6, and there's one negative out here. If there were two negatives, then it would become positive. Remember that. Got it? And just so that you don't forget the regular method, 2 over negative 3 is equal to 4A. We simply divide. We want to find A, so we need only A. So we'll get rid of the 4 by dividing 4. Now, if you divide 4 on one side, you'll have to divide 4 on the other side. So I'll simply, bring the 4 next to negative 3. And once you're multiplying, just put a bracket so that you know you're multiplying. Otherwise, it'll look like it's negative 3 and then 4 on its own. So you kind of will get confused whether it's multiplication, addition, subtraction, what it is. So 4 and 4 cancels. I get A. 2 upon negative 12. Yeah. And then 2 goes into 12 six times. So I got negative 1 over 6. Same thing as this. All right. That was H. Moving on to I. 20 over 4 is equal to negative A. That's very simple. 4 goes into 25 times. Therefore, 5 is equal to negative A, or you can simply say A is equal to negative 5. Got it? J. 1 by 4 is equal to negative 4A. Yeah. Therefore, yeah, I'll divide both sides by 4. So I'll get 1 over 4 into 4 is equal to negative A, which is negative 1 by 16 equal to A. Same thing. Yeah. Got it? I'll put a therefore or it implies rather than equal to. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Minus 1 over 3 is equal to negative 2A. Therefore, negative and negative cancels, right? So you got 1 over 3 is equal to 2A. Yeah. Which implies 1 over 6 is equal to A because 2 goes next to 3. You get 1 by 6. L. 2 over 3 is equal to 4A over 3. I'm going to apply my trick, right? So 2 and 3 goes next to each other. 3 will go with 4, like the 4 will come down to 3, yeah? And I got A on its own, yeah? So I brought the 4 down with 3 and 3 next to 2. And then 3 and 3 cancels and I got 2 over 4 and 2 over 4 is half. So A is half. Got it? Last but not the least, no, there are like 3 more questions, my bad. So take another clean screen. Moving on to M. 2A over 3 is equal to 4 by 6. Yeah. So the trick is A is equal to 4. Yeah. Into upon 6. And then 3 goes next to 4 and 2 goes next to 6 like that. Okay. So you can extend it further like this. Yeah. So once again, remember if I wrote 4 over 6 into 3 over 2, these two are the same thing. They're the same thing. Okay. Doesn't matter how you write it. Excuse me. So now, 2 goes into 4 two times and 3 goes into 6 two times. So 2 and 2 cancels, and I've got 1 as the answer. And as you can see, 4 over 6, 3 over 2, I can multiply these two, I get 12. Multiply these two, I get 12. So that's 12. 12 is 1. 1 over 1, which is 1. Okay, that was M. Yeah. N. Negative 2a over 3 is equal to 4 over 10. So therefore, a is equal to 4 over 10 into 3 over 2. And don't forget, the whole thing is negative. Yeah. So out here also, just an explanation. So if I've got 4 over 10 into 3 over negative 2, the whole thing becomes negative. All right. Now, one little negative thing, whether in the denominator, whether in the numerator, it just makes the whole thing negative. Whether you put it in the numerator, denominator, the whole thing becomes negative. So negative comes on the outside. So more like explaining it to you this way. Yeah. So if you got a is equal to negative 2 over 3, is the same thing as a is equal to negative 2 over 3, is the same thing as a is equal to 2 over negative 3. You know what I mean? All of these are the same. So solving this, I got 2 goes into 4 2 times. Yeah, 2 goes into 10 5 times. So I've got negative 3 over 5 as my answer for N. Got it? Another line of reasoning, or another way to, another way people usually solve this, the way what they do is, I'll show you on the next clean screen. You look at this. So the another line of thought I would say is for n, negative 2a over 3 is 4 by 10. So some schools believe in solving it this way. So they say, okay, a is equal to 4 over 10 into 3 over 2, and obviously the whole thing is negative. Yeah. So they say, okay, no need to cancel out in between. Write down the whole product on the top first, 12, the whole product on the bottom, which is 20, and don't forget the negative sign. Now you do the canceling. So, okay, you can do that as well. This is 4 times 3. This is 4 times 5. 4 and 4 cancels, and I got negative 3 over 5. Yeah, you can do it that way. Right. Hmm. Next question is the last one. Oh, negative 2a upon 3 is equal to negative 4 upon 8. Negative, negative cancels. Yeah. So you got a is equal to 4 over 8 into 3 by 2. Yeah. So 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. So you got 3 over 4 as the answer. And had you worked it with that other school of thought, then 4 and 3 is 12, 8 and 2 is 16. 4 threes are, that is 4 into 3 upon 4 into 4. Cancel, cancel, and you got 3 by 4. Same thing. I like my calculations this way. Yeah. It just reduces the burden of mental math for me. To each his own. Moving on to question number 2. All right. So question number 2 is the part where you learn about negatives when multiplied. What do you get? Yeah. So as you can see, A is 1 negative, 2 negative, and 3 negative. Right. So there are 3 negatives. That one, that one, that one. So my outcome will be negative. Okay, odd number of negatives. Now I simply have to multiply these numbers. So 3 and 4 is 12. 1 and 1 doesn't matter because 1 and 1 is 1. So 12 into 1 is 12 only. So I'll just focus on numbers which are not 1. So 3 4 are 12, 12 3 are 36. That's my answer. Again, there's only one negative. One negative means the outcome is negative, and I'm going to multiply them. 3 4 are 12, 12 2 are 24. So if you're having difficulty, doing the mental math, write it down 12 into 2 into 3. All right, that negative 3, I've already accounted the total outcome will be negative, so no need to write negative 3 out here. Just write 3. So my outcome is 12 to the 24. 24 threes are, I think, 72. Yeah, it is 72. Now, count the number of negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my outcome is positive. I don't have to write down positive. It's understood it's positive. So no need to write positive. It's understood it's positive. Yeah. Excuse me. Now multiply these numbers. 3 to the 6, 6 to the 18, 18 is the outcome. 3 to the 6, 6 to the 18. Now you tell me whether it's going to be positive 18 or negative 18 for delta. It's going to be positive 18 because even number of negatives. There are two negatives, four negatives, two negatives. These are all positive outcomes. E, right? 3 3 the 9, 9 into 0. Don't forget the 0. Anything multiplied with a 0, whether it's a positive number, negative number, just doesn't matter. So out here, the number of negatives. So had the 0 not been there in E, the outcome would be a positive 9. But since 0 is there, since 0 is there, it's just 0. Because anything you multiply with 0 becomes 0. So out here, the two negatives just don't matter because the whole thing's getting multiplied with 0 at the end. Right? So no need to worry about whether it's positive or negative, it's 0. F. Count the negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, all of them, all the 5 numbers are negative. 5 negatives meaning the outcome is negative because odd number of negatives is negative. So now 3 4 are 12, 12 2 are 24. Negative 24 is the answer. Question 3, simplification. So we simply simplifying the fractions, and there are 9 of them, starting with the first one. So 3 and 3 cancels. I'm left with negative 2 over 4, which is nothing but negative half because 2 goes into 4 two times. Right? Yeah. Now there are two negatives, so the outcome is going to be positive. And remember 2 goes into 4 two times. So my outcome is 1 over 6 because 3 and 2 gets multiplied. Again, two negatives meaning my outcome is positive. 3 and 3 cancels. 2 and 2 cancels. So my answer is 1. Okay. Again, two negatives. So my outcome is positive. 3 and 3 cancels. I'm left with 4 at the bottom and 1 on the top. So 1 by 4. 3 and 3 cancels. And I've got two negatives. So the outcome is positive. 1 on the top and 2 at the bottom. 3 3 cancels anyway. So it is simply 8 over 4. And don't forget the negative. Yeah. And that is 4 goes into 8 two times. So negative 2. Right. Two negatives, so it's simply, so if you get confused with something like this, write it down 2 over 1. So you know where the number 2 is. And remember, two negatives meaning it's a positive outcome. So 2 over 1 into 3 over 4. 2 goes into 4 two times, so the answer is 3 by 2. Three negatives, 1 2 and 3, so outcome is going to be negative. Now if you look at G and H, they're just the same thing. The only thing is that there are three negatives. So my answer will be negative 3 by 2. I'll just work it out for you. So 2 goes into 4 two times, and I got 3 over 2. Right? That way you don't get confused about the negative part. We write down the negative first. And the last one is two negatives is positive. So we know it's positive. So it's simply 8 over 4, which is 2, because 4 goes into 8 two times. And that's it, guys. We're done with this worksheet. As usual, remember the worksheet will be in the link, yeah, which will be added in the description. And the quizzes, I'm not doing quizzes anymore. It was just there for the first 10 worksheets. I can do 10 more quizzes, but I'll probably need help. Someone needs to, make those quiz. Yeah. And if I get time, I'll do them. But like I said, there's a limitation. I can only do 20 quizzes. That's what the app allows me, and not more than that. Anyway, next will be algebra set O. Yeah, right. Thank you.